Welcome back to K-Drama Cycle, the channel that takes you deeper into the stories behind your favorite stars, their love, their struggles, and the moments that remind us that fame doesn't always mean losing yourself. Today's story is titled Independent but Inseparable. Freen and Becky show the world what real partnership looks like. Let's dive right in. For years, Freen Sorocha and Becky Armstrong have been one of the most talked about duos in Thai entertainment. From co-stars to close friends, from partners on screen to soulmates off it, their journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. But recently, the pair shocked fans when they announced that they were officially leaving their agency, Idol Factory. For many, this could have marked the end of an era. But for Freen and Becky, it was only the beginning. Because what followed wasn't separation, it was evolution. They made it clear that independence doesn't mean distance. Instead, it means growth, freedom, and respect for one another's dreams. Fans watched closely as both stars launched their solo paths, Freen building her personal projects in fashion and production, while Becky expanded into music and international collaborations. And yet, even as they pursued their separate goals, one thing never changed: the bond between them. Insiders revealed that during the transition period, both Freen and Becky were constantly in touch, making sure they were each emotionally grounded through the massive changes. It wasn't easy. Leaving behind a company that had shaped their early success took courage, but the two promised to support each other, no matter what direction their careers took. One close friend of the duo said, "They talk every day. They're not just business partners or colleagues, they are family. They celebrate each other's wins as if they were their own." And that was evident to everyone. When Freen launched her first independent fan meeting, Becky sent her a flower arrangement with a note that said, "Proud of you, always." Later, during Becky's music showcase, Freen appeared quietly backstage, smiling from the sidelines, refusing to steal the spotlight. It wasn't a grand gesture for the cameras, it was an act of genuine love and loyalty. This balance, independence without losing connection, has become the foundation of their relationship. In interviews, Freen often speaks about the importance of individuality, saying, "We can love someone deeply, but still need to grow in our own space. Love isn't about possession. It's about respect and trust." Becky echoed the same sentiment during a recent live stream. When a fan asked if she was afraid that going solo would distance her from Freen, Becky smiled softly and said, "True connection doesn't break when you walk separate paths. It only grows stronger if it's real." Those words hit fans hard, because they perfectly describe what Freen and Becky have shown for years, that their bond isn't based on constant appearances or public displays. It's built on quiet strength, shared goals, and emotional understanding. Behind the scenes, it's said that both of them played key roles in each other's new ventures. Freen reportedly advised Becky on management decisions, while Becky helped Freen plan her international brand collaborations. They might not be under the same roof professionally anymore, but spiritually, they still move as one. And the fans see it all. Online communities filled with clips of them subtly referencing each other, a quick mention in interviews, matching jewelry, or even the same travel destinations shared weeks apart. It's their unspoken way of saying, "We're still together, just freer now." But it wasn't always easy. The weeks after leaving Idol Factory were filled with rumors, talks of tension, misunderstandings, and possible fallout. But the girls never addressed it with anger. Instead, they chose calm honesty. Freen posted a heartfelt note on her personal page that read, "Every chapter teaches us something new. This one taught me that real love means letting each other shine." Not long after, Becky shared a message that seemed like a response. "When you find someone who roots for you, even when they're not in the picture, hold them close. That's rare." Those two posts, simple yet deeply emotional, silenced all negativity. Now, as both Freen and Becky navigate their individual projects, the world sees something even more inspiring than before. Two women who aren't afraid to walk their own paths while still walking side by side in spirit. Fans often comment that their connection is a rare kind, not bound by labels, companies, or even distance. It's a partnership built on mutual pride. When Freen wins, Becky celebrates. When Becky shines, Freen glows with her. One fan perfectly summed it up online. "They're teaching us that independence doesn't mean being alone. It means loving with freedom and faith." And maybe that's the most beautiful part of their journey. that they didn't let fame define their relationship. They let trust do that. Whether they're on the same stage or thousands of miles apart, one thing remains true. Freen and Becky's story isn't about separation. It's about how love and respect can flourish even when you give each other space to grow. They're not just partners in the public eye. They're partners in life, independent yet inseparable. And as Freen once said in a candid interview, at the end of the day, no matter how far we go, we'll always find each other again. After weeks of quiet, Freen and Becky's story took a beautiful new turn, one that proved once again why fans call them not just co-stars, but soulmates. Just a month after announcing their independence from Idol Factory, both women reappeared in public at separate events, but their energy, their aura, and even their words still reflected each other. It was as if the universe itself was keeping their hearts in sync. Freen attended a charity gala in Bangkok, dazzling in a sleek white dress that symbolized a new chapter. When asked about her post-agency life, she smiled with grace and said, "It feels different, but also refreshing. I've learned that growth comes when you're not afraid to stand on your own. But I'm grateful for those who still stand beside me. Always." That always caught the attention of everyone in the room. Because just days before, Becky had said something strikingly similar in a separate interview. When a reporter asked if she missed working closely with Freen, Becky laughed softly and said, "You don't miss someone who never really left. She's still here, just not always on camera." Fans didn't need more confirmation. These weren't random comments. They were quiet affirmations that their connection was unshaken. Behind the scenes, their friendship has remained strong, even in the busiest of schedules. It's said that Freen still checks on Becky before every major appearance, and Becky continues to send her daily motivational messages, short notes filled with warmth and encouragement. Their staff members even shared that sometimes, when Becky's team prepares for a big project, Freen sends snacks or small gifts with notes that say, "You've got this. Proud of you always." It's the kind of support that doesn't need to be publicized, the kind that happens away from the cameras in moments of quiet care. And yet, the fans always seem to notice. Recently, during a live fan event, a fan asked Becky what love means to her now. She paused for a long second before answering. "Love isn't about control or constant presence. It's about trust. If someone makes you feel safe, even when they're not around, that's love." The crowd went silent for a moment, then erupted into cheers. Everyone knew exactly who she was referring to. Meanwhile, Freen had been spotted wearing a new bracelet engraved with a simple phrase, "Grow freely, love deeply." That very phrase had appeared in one of Becky's older captions, months before their agency departure. The matching energy between them couldn't be ignored. But perhaps the most emotional moment came when Freen surprised everyone during one of Becky's international fan events. Becky was wrapping up a heartfelt thank you speech when a video began playing on the big screen, a message from Freen herself. Looking radiant but emotional, Freen said, "To everyone here supporting her, thank you." Becky's heart is pure, her energy is endless, and her dreams are bigger than ever. "I'm proud of her, today, tomorrow, and always." Becky couldn't hold back her tears. She wiped her eyes and said, "You see why I'll always be thankful for her? She's my biggest supporter, even from afar." The fans, moved to tears, began chanting both their names. It was a moment of unity that showed the world that love, in any form, doesn't have to fade when life changes. Since then, their relationship has evolved into something truly inspiring. They're not defined by labels, by agencies, or by expectations. Instead, they've become a symbol of mutual respect and emotional maturity. Even industry insiders are impressed by how they've handled everything with grace. One producer who worked with both said, "Most partnerships collapse when independence begins. But with Freen and Becky, independence made them stronger. They're proving you can chase your dreams and still hold space for someone else." Now, whispers in the entertainment world suggest that Freen and Becky are considering co-producing a project together, not as contracted artists, but as creative equals. The details are being kept secret, but if true, it could mark a historic moment for both of them, a reunion of talent, passion, and trust built on years of shared experience. Fans around the world are already calling it the Freen-Beck Era 2.0, the next stage of their journey where independence and connection walk hand in hand. Through every high and low, They've shown that love doesn't have to shrink for freedom to grow. It's the kind of partnership that inspires people, not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it's rooted in quiet loyalty and endless understanding. And as one fan perfectly wrote online, Freen and Becky didn't break apart. They evolved together. Different paths, same direction, forward. It's a story that keeps unfolding, one of maturity, grace, and unshakable trust. Because at the end of the day, Freen and Becky have proven that real partnership doesn't depend on proximity, it depends on connection. They may be walking separate roads, but their hearts remain side by side. And maybe, just maybe, that's what true love really looks like.